Have you heard the story of Richard? The boy who was born a complete and utter dick. I don't mean he plopped out of his mum and started telling the Indian doctor to go back to where he came from. I mean, he was a dick. He had no arms, no legs, no head. He was just a set of balls, a shaft and a bell end. When Richard was born, the doctor said to the mother, "Your son's a dick." And she said, "Oi, that's a bit harsh. He's only been out of me vagina for 5 seconds. And he said, No, I mean, he's a literal dick." "Oh, my bad," said the mother. "But if he's a literal dick, how do you know he's a boy?" "Because he's not a vagina." "Ah, I see. I suppose that makes sense," said the mother. "So, do you want me to kill your dick for you, or do you want to do it yourself?" said the doctor. "I'll do it myself. Pass me the blowtorch," said the mother. Just as she was about to burn her son's bellend to a crisp, he let out a little moan out of his Jap's eye. "Please don't burn me alive, Mum!" All of a sudden, she realised that her son may be a dick, but he was her dick, and so she threw the blowtorch away and kissed her son on the balls. Now, I'm not going to pretend that the next few years were easy for Mother and her little dick. For one, Richard's clothes that she'd already bought him didn't fit him, seeing as he was a dick and that, and there was no shop that did a special range for penis people, so she had to spend ages knitting him his very own special clothes. Potty training was an absolute nightmare. Richard would sit on the potty and then just spray piss all over the ceiling. On Richard's first day at school, he got sent home for flashing the other children, so his mother had to go in and explain to the teachers that he wasn't flashing, he was just a dick. The teacher was very apologetic, but the damage was already done. Richard felt alienated from everyone. The other children would call him horrible names like Dick, Cockboy, and the kid that looks like my dad's Willie. Just when Richard thought it couldn't get any worse, along came puberty. Every time he got a boner, he ripped his shirt in two like the Incredible Hulk. In the end, he had to go to school in a specially made elastic shirt that expanded and shrunk again whenever he got aroused. By the time Richard was 14, he had turned to alcohol in order to cope. He was pouring a whole litre of vodka down his Jap's eye a day. It seemed he had hit rock bottom, but then he met Stacey. Stacey loved dick, so when she met Richard, it was love at first sight. They spent all of their time together, and as soon as they reached 18, they got married. Shortly after came their first child, a little vagina called Steve. Life was finally good for Richard, until one day he came home early from work and found Stacey in bed with a dildo. "How could you, Stacey? I loved you!" shouted Richard before beating her to death with his bell end. Then Steve, the little vagina, walked in to find Richard standing over her dead mother's body, but before she could scream, Richard crushed her to death with his balls. It was at this very moment that Richard felt like a proper dick, and so he shot himself in the balls with a shotgun.